Good evening. Hopefully you can see and hear us now as we go live at the Ryan Bresnahan Memorial Match 2019. It's the 10th Memorial Match. The main game this evening will be Clifton versus Milford, but as we speak we have games going on just about everywhere. So we have the under-16s playing Milford over on the far pitch. We have the girls playing in a 3-team tournament. We have the Clifton under-14s playing a game on the very, very far pitch, the top pitch, against Milford, and we also have the under-15s still playing. I think I can just see them in the distance there. But right in front of us now we have the prep school teams. So and that is the team of Clifton College, who you can see in the familiar light blue and navy strip, playing against Kings Hall in the red. And with that, I have been joined up here by Mr. Gill, who has been coaching the team out there. So I'm going to just ask him a couple of questions. So first of all, just going to ask your advice for people, really. So as far as this year group goes, and perhaps you could introduce which sort of age group this is, what sort of two pieces of advice will you be giving players, certainly who play for you, but in general who are playing rugby?
Well, I say specifically for this under-13s group, it's kind of enjoy yourself, go outside and get on that pitch and just enjoy your rugby, because with that then the performance will come. And then probably the second one is just, if you've got the attitude right, then everything else will come as well. And turning up and playing isn't just the beginning of it, it's just, you can go on from there and go to higher places.
Certainly some excellent words there. My son will be has finally found rugby, so he started playing a little bit more this year, so I'll be passing those on when I see him tonight. He's actually over in the stand there somewhere, so he's actually probably the first time he's really come and watched a live match, so that will be good fun. I'm going to try and get him to the Bears on Friday, but he doesn't know that yet. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Okay, well, I'll let you get back to your team, and hope it goes well for the rest of the time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Hello and welcome back. I'm now joined in the mini grandstand, shall I say, by the two directors of rugby, Mr. Salter and Mr. Mallard. I'm going to just pose a couple of questions. Strange to call him Mr. Salter, but there we go. Mr. Salter, let's start with you. How are you feeling about this evening's game?
It's very similar to last year. It looks like two strong sides based on the result that the 16s had last year, which was fairly close. Obviously that reflects on this year, and I think it will be a close encounter, and so it should be with two really good scores.
And John, same over to you.
Yeah, a bit exciting evening really to be part of. The boys love coming out. The guys that came last year, I remember playing under lights. A lot of them won't have done that before. There's a nice crowd. Will there be a crowd again like there was last year? Yeah, I think so, boys. So they enjoy all those bits, and yeah, an exciting evening.
I'm sure the buses will just be arriving shortly, and if you can't see them yet, you'll probably hear them when they do arrive. This morning, as I sat there hoping that it was going to be called off so I didn't have to do the live stream, and the deluge came outside my window, any changes of plan, Matt?
No, I think obviously you saw the weather forecast before, but yeah, tonight's just about boys expressing themselves. We won't sort of necessarily change the way we play because of the weather, because the boys want to go out there and play, show their skill set and what they can do. So we'll encourage them to play as much as they can. It's a big wide pitch. The surface is decent, and it should lead to a good game with two teams that definitely would like to play rugby.
And a Clifton Millfield match is always going to have a nice competitiveness to it, but I think given this is one of the first times really where we've played the memorial match against the same team twice in a row, so I think Clifton will be looking maybe to get their own back, and obviously Millfield will be looking forward to the double draw.
Yeah, I think it'd be fair to say we squeaked it last year. We snuck through, and Matt probably would have got away feeling like it was a game Clifton could have, should have won, and somehow we managed to just keep out. I seem to remember a great Clifton attacks that didn't quite get over the line. So sadly, that's probably given them a good incentive for tonight.
And Matt, have you used that near miss perhaps from last year to incentivise the boys this year?
Yeah, there's a wonderful picture on the changing room wall that I put, which is a picture of one of our boys with his head in his hands, and one of the Millfield boys picking him up, and it was a lovely picture because obviously I think it showed the respect the two teams had. But I have put that out there to sort of say, hopefully it won't be out us with our head in hands this year. But there's a little bit of rivalry because we played each other in the sevens as well at Roslyn Park, so the guys kind of know each other, and that's nice. A nice rivalry between two good teams. I think people like the boys like to play against good players, and tonight is for both of them. That's the case.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're certainly looking forward to it. Shall we anything to finish off, or do you want to go back and give your boys their last words of your wisdom?
Looking forward to getting going, really. We're going to crack on. The boys, the whole sort of nerves thing is a challenge for them to deal with, and it's nice for them to get to the point and actually get out and get going, really. Yeah.
I'm just going to keep Mr. Grucock under control for the game. It's my job.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks chaps. Good luck. Best of luck to both teams. And just to inform you of the timeline, so currently the prep school have just finished. To my left, the Clifton team are warming up, and to my right, the Millfield team. So we're aiming, as the grandstand starts filling up opposite, we're aiming for a 7:30 start. So by my cheap Casio watch, I make it 6 minutes past, so about 25 minutes to kick off, and I'll join you again shortly to go through the team lineups. So 20 minutes away for the kick-off. We've got the two captains going into the centre circle, although less so the centre circle in rugby, I suppose. The centre spot for a toss. So that'll be Harry Taylor, the captain of Clifton College, and I am not entirely sure because I can't see his number, and it's not listed as captain on Matt Salter's programme that he's provided. So all complaints, please forward to Matt Salter. Some final words from the referee. Just, I'm sure, setting down some guidelines for the match as the two sets of teams continue. Millfield with the tackle bags out, and Clifton supporting some very special bright green vests.
Clifton won the toss.
So latest news: Clifton won the toss and they elected to kick, so they will be kicking towards the right of the screen as you look at it. So kicking towards the right, then obviously by default Millfield will be kicking towards the left. Okay, so as we wait for the teams to finish their warm-ups, and obviously they'll go back in for their last-minute preparations, I'm joined by perhaps the most important person, or certainly a member of the most important family on the day, and that is Michelle Bresnahan. So hello, Michelle.
Hi, Gary.
Lovely to be here again. So I think if you would begin with just telling us about the day, about the event, obviously the tragic events that led to us being here, but also giving us the opportunity to celebrate something quite splendid and enjoyable.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's really hard to sum it up because it's such an amazingly positive attitude here, but then there's so much sadness in my heart because it first started in 2010 when we lost Ryan. He's just turned 16. We lost him to meningitis. He was a sports scholar at Clifton. He was a fit, healthy lad, like all the lads I'm looking at warming up tonight. And the shock and the just unfairness of losing his life when he had so much to live through. It's just unbearable. It's still unbearable, and we just wanted to create something in his memory, and also to stop other young lives being lost to meningitis. So we set up a Life with Cure, which is kind of Ryan's memory and makes his memory live on, and obviously that's involved with tonight. But actually, it's more than that. It's the heart that comes with it. It's not just a charity event. Everyone who's here understands why they're here, and it's overwhelming. I use that word every year, and it truly is overwhelming evening. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and as a housemaster, I can continue to listen to the boys, and it is the match that they want to play in. I hear time and time again injured boys going, "Will I be back in time for the Ryan Bresnahan match?" And it just goes to show how much it means, and the emotional side of it. And even though obviously that they didn't know Ryan. It amazes me how they've embraced it and how they understand it, and for me it gives me a wonderful opportunity to talk to them just about how tragic the event was, but also about the illness in general.
Yeah, this is the second at-risk age group. 80% of the students here are in that category of 15 to 24-year-olds. Who are the second at-risk category of meningitis. I certainly didn't know that. Most of our friends and family didn't know that when we lost Rise. They thought it was just babies that died. So the awareness, we've raised over £500,000. I have just got to say that, and a big thank you to everybody who's watching and listening, because I know many of the boys who are listening who took part in the match right back in day one, year 2, and they're listening. And actually, tonight is as special as it was right at the beginning. And Clifton have been great about that in continuing that. There obviously was a time when I was worried about how it would stay so strong. But standing where I am now, looking across a full stadium, and that is definitely nothing to worry about for the moment.
No, and to the extent that actually it feels almost as if it's getting bigger each year. Yeah. So we're playing, I think we played yet another extra match maybe this year. I don't think we played the 15s last year.
That's right,
so it's getting bigger. I was having a lovely conversation with John Mallett earlier from Millfield, and this is their second year, obviously they're here in a row, and he also picked up that their boys actually, how much they've enjoyed it, how much they now talk about this occasion, and it's the boys who were here last year telling the other boys what a great occasion it was for them.
It's fabulous to have a school, they're so involved, and I always try and visit the visiting school, because I want them to understand. I don't want them to be at a disadvantage. I want them to understand what they're coming to. So I went down last week to meet the Millfield team, and they are so welcoming and so kind, and that has happened every single year. So it's absolutely fabulous. It's just amazing.
And I think again, from my point of view, certainly from what I see, and I guess in a way I felt privileged to see how much you have done over the past 10 years, and I know you thanked everyone else, but I think there must be a lot of people out there benefiting from the work you've done, and I guess, small as it may be from me, it should be recognised. A massive thank you to all you've done for obviously a life for a cure, but obviously for the bigger picture and the awareness of meningitis. Again, £500,000. It is amazing.
Thank you, Gary. And what's so amazing about that £500,000 is that every penny, because we're run by volunteers, every penny goes to the end cause, it goes to research. We've just funded a big student awareness campaign, so when our lovely children go off to university, they get literature. A Life for a Cure has paid for that, which is phenomenal. So I appreciate your really kind words. And actually, when people tell me they've had their children vaccinated because they've listened to either me or a friend of mine, or went on Ryan's website or seen something on social media, then that gives so much. I can't tell you. So huge thanks to everyone for their support and listening to me rambling on.
And ultimately, that's not just words, because as a result, obviously, the work you've done and the awareness that you brought to me, both my children have been vaccinated. So it's very, very much down to you. I'm not sure I would have known so much or thought so much about it had you not been doing such a wonderful job.
Thank you.
So I think the boys have just gone in for their last minute. So I'm gonna finish the interview, unless you want to say more. But I'm going to finish the interview by asking you who's going to win.
Well, Milford won by a whisker. A very exciting match last year. So I think it's Clifton's turn. I think it would be equal, and then Milford will have to come back again next year to carry on bashing it out. So I'm going to say Clifton.
Excellent. Well,
let's bring some balance.
Hopefully everyone at Milford's heard that and won't want to disappoint Michelle. But thank you again for your time. Thank you for all you do.
This is just, and for people who can't be in Bristol, to actually be part of it. And so many people have come through the schools, loads of schools, not just Clifton College, lots of schools have taken part over the years. For them to have access to it is fab. So thanks, Gary.
You're welcome.
The social media path.
Well, you're more than welcome, and hello to those of you who certainly aren't with us tonight. And maybe just before you go, those people who are sitting at home near their computer could perhaps go to a certain website.
Yeah, let's go to www.ryanbresnahan, BRESNAHAN for November.org, and there's a donate button on there, or just have a look. I went on the website a couple of weeks ago in preparation for a presentation I was doing, and it actually it still looks fresh. Which is great.
So I think I suggested this last year, but maybe we could get a few more this year. So if you could go on there, make some donations. Can they comment? Can they add a comment?
Yeah, they can.
Because it'd be nice to know that some people out there are listening to us.
Yeah, there's a comment space. Virgin Money Giving.
And I'm not just here on a rainy second day of August, according to my daughter, for no reason. So that would be lovely.
It's stopped raining, has it?
I think so. I think we're good.
It's nearly stopped, and this is only, I think, possibly the second or third time it's rained out of 10. So we can't complain, I don't think, in September.
We'll be fine. I feel lucky.
Yeah. Good.
All right. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so 5 minutes before kick-off, I think things are getting ready over there. The boys will be coming out. There'll be a minute's applause. I'm not sure they're going to come out to this particular song on that, but we'll see. So I'm now joined by Danny Brewcott, the Clifton College High Performance Rugby Manager. I think your full title is. So perhaps just a couple of words maybe about your start with Clifton and how's that's gone over the first few weeks, and then maybe a bit about tonight's match.
It's been a brilliant start for me, to be honest. Matt Salt runs a fantastic programme, so working alongside him has been great. I've been really impressed with the college. We're really impressed with the quality of players we've got available, and that's for the boys and the girls teams. We've got off to a pretty good start with the games here tonight.
And do you know the results of those games? Because I've not picked them all up yet.
Well, the girls 17 have won their first 2 games, so they are looking for an unbeaten season already.
Fantastic stuff. Do you know how the 16s got on?
And the 16s playing against a very large Milford team got a very good result as well. And it was a tough contest, but I think our boys, speaking to the Milford coaches, showed a bit more heart, and they managed to hang on there and get a result, which is brilliant against a very impressive Milford 16s team. But I think pulled up a lot of very good results against all their opposition. So I don't be surprised tonight. Very pleasing.
And as far as this match goes, what are you expecting?
I think we've got 2 brilliant teams who really want to play expensive rugby. I think that we had a bit of a downfall early on the day, and I think thankfully it's not dampened the spirits of the boys or the type of rugby we're going to play.
The boys are taken to the pitch, so some final words from Danny before the start of the match.
For me, I think today reflects what a brilliant sport rugby is, and actually for such a tragic event, we've got 2 teams that have come together, a huge amount of supporters, 2 brilliant schools putting on a competitive game in brilliant spirit, and I think it's going to be an exciting day. And I think it's fantastic that Ryan's memory lives on. 10 years later, the boys are out there in his memory doing a fantastic job and showing what great sport is all about.
Thank you, Danny. Good luck. Okay, so the match is underway. With Clifton taking the kick-off, and Jack Lloyd making the first kick, which has found its way into touch. So first test for the Millfield line-outs. Okay, so maybe I should run down through the lineups for the 2 teams. Starting with Clifton, if you had been watching the live stream earlier, you would have noticed our highly technical display, i.e. the camera on the match programme. So for Clifton College, starting at 1, Toby Dawkins, at 2, Lewis Williams, at 3, Arthur Shepherd Capuro, at 4, Willem Cole, at 5, Morgan Stronati, at 6, JJ Hughes, at 7, Morgan Jones, and 8, Captain Harry Taylor. Scrum half, number 9, Ada McGee, Jack Lloyd in fly half, Emmanuel Clay Weboso, at 11, Harry Ashall, the vice captain, inside centre, Archie Grayson, 13 outside him, Freddie Wooler on the wing, and Adam Goblik at fullback. Moving on to the Millfield team now, and you'll have to excuse my pronunciations because I apparently, according to Andrew Wagstaff, who's joined me in the stand whilst eating his burger, I got most of the Clifton College ones wrong as well, so let's give it a go. So for Millfield School, at number 1, we have T. Maddock, at 2, J. Cornelius, at 3, H. Janaway, at 4, J. Powell, at 5, Groiner, at 6, M. Longyear, 7, J. Davis, 8, C. Draglader Tari, the Millfield boys have told me that's me. Okay, 9, C. Smith, 10, C. Donahue, 11, F. McNulty, 12, W. Joseph, 13, W. Trinder, 14, D. Evans, and 15, M. Arnold. So as I said, I've got Mr. Wagstaff, who's director of sports for me, so he's going to provide some co-commentary tonight, having coached or managed his team to an earlier match. Let's ask him about how his earlier match went.
We had a very good, tight, competitive match against Cardiff Schools 15. First half was a bit tit for tat. We'd held up over the line, and then we camped in our half. The majority of the half, but Cardiff failed to capitalise on the possession that they had. The hairdryer was out at half time, so it was 0-0 at half time. Cardiff started the second half and took some points, and we got 3-0, which was quite a good decision because we didn't look like scoring. And then we turned it on and we woke up. We scored 2 fantastic tries. We ran away with it 17-3, which sort of didn't reflect how competitive the game was. It was a great contest. Well played, it sums up what the team is all about. Boys playing for each other and performing at their best and putting their bodies on the line. We won 17-3.
And having watched the first half of the match, it definitely seems like I would manage to turn up for the wrong half. So perhaps a little bit more exciting on the scoring in the second half. So just looking at the match now, so we have Clifton just short of the Millfield try line, with Millfield in possession. Ball just spilt forward and went back to the opposite position. It looks like Millfield have recovered their own kick. And coming back from the knock-on for the winger, so that's the Clifton knock-on, so scrum to Millfield. just to confirm, as Andrew Wagstaff has informed me, it's currently 0-0. I knew there was a reason for him to come here, as Clifton have a put into the scrum. Just a reminder for anyone who wasn't aware, the same two teams played in last year's Memorial match, 2018 Memorial match. I had the pleasure of being in a very similar position, which is actually probably one of the best viewing points in this ground, to watch Millfield splendidly beat Clifton 15-10 the line. So and Southend 5 to Clifton. Side and won by 13.
Yeah, great backstory for the blindside runner coming in, and in the first ball carrier, delaying his pass to some dummy runners out the back, and the 10 good pass there, that void, that's coming out wide, and finish off really well at pace. That last pass, you put as you go behind the player, but put it down to allowing him to go into the corner. Fantastic backsmooth. Just strike and score from that first phase play. Well done.
I'm not entirely sure of the score. It's certainly hard.
Sam, who scored, please?
That is Adam, fullback. Adam Publix going through. Archie Chris. Harry Ashall there, unable to convert 2 extra points, so a positive start for Clifton, putting them into 5-0 lead. Let's see if Clifton now has a chance to show whether they can clear their lines with JJ Hughes taking it up, setting the ball back through the hands to Morgan to Harry Taylor.
Yeah, it's great to see JJ Hughes playing. He's had quite a few injuries, went on the tour and didn't play. So for me, it's great to see him playing, having been out for a long time. So he's, as an upper sixth, one of those boys who really wants to put on his strengths tonight.
First, you mentioned the tour. Perhaps you can mention a little bit more about the tour.
Sorry, just distracted about this game of rugby that's going on. Yeah, we took 44 boys out to Chile and Argentina the last day of term when we broke up for the summer. 2 weeks starting in Santiago in Chile, where we played against the Old Grangonians, which connects to the Grange School. And the first team played a select 15, pretty much like the Chilean national team. So they had it up against them. The Chilean team won that game with our second win in against the Old Grangonians. Then we had 2 really good fixtures at Craig House in Santiago, big school there. And there's a real ding-dong of a match. The first team took a few injuries, but they ended up winning that game. And a competitive second team game as well, losing that by 1 point. So great starts, winning 2, losing 2 to a competitive tour. Unfortunately, Ali Marshall breaking his leg in that game was a bit of a downer, but the boys certainly looked after him, and he was in plaster and crutches in a wheelchair for the rest of the tour, but took part in everything apart from the boat trip at the Iguazu Falls, which was a certain highlight of mine on the tour. So off we went to Buenos Aires, Argentina. The boys raised money before going out there, so we gave a cheque for $5,000 to a soup kitchen, which half the touring party visited in action, which was very humbling, and brought a few boys to tears actually when we presented the cheque. So that was a massive part of what the tour was all about, really. We also went and visited some schools in Buenos Aires, some deprived areas of the slums. And the boys coached some sports through the United Through Sports charity. so they coached the kids and had a great experience in 2 schools. And back to the rugby, we had lots of games out in Argentina as well. Wasn't quite matched as well as the Chilean games, so it was a bit one-sided, unfortunately, but the hosting was absolutely spectacular. Still trying to recover from the barbecues and the eat all you want meats that was done out there. Certainly paid its price when we came back by putting on a stone, but that's enough about me, and back to Mr. Catchpole.
Well, certainly seeing you eat that burger, all that practice while you've been away has certainly paid off. And maybe you could say the same about the Clifton team as they move try ahead. Okay, let's see if Clifton can move through another one of those moves. They shift it wide. Aidan McGee having a little snipe, seeing if there's any opportunities. Just in my time of need, Andrew Wagstaff has disappeared off. Just to say it's lovely to hear about the tour. He didn't invite me, so it's nice to know what they got up to. Having to stay back in the UK while they're over there enjoying themselves. I'm not sure whether the music is audible on live stream, but I apologise. I've been told it's the DJs from New Zealand. It's some of the more recent music. It hasn't reached this correction yet, so I do apologise for the songs you may hear coming across. But in all seriousness, can I say thank you to Mr. Charlie Halliday, who's sitting over on the far grandstand, surrounded by a full capacity crowd and providing some wonderful entertainment. And via the medium of WhatsApp, I think Andrew can now bring us the scores from the under 14 and under 16 matches.
Yeah, Clifton Rugby Staff WhatsApp, so just in. The under 14s played against Millfield under 14s. Good tight game. The under 14s losing 22 points to 10. Then the 15s played the Cardiff Schools, Select 15, which I mentioned earlier, and the 15s won that one 17-3. The under 16 game, which is certainly going to be the game of the night so far. A very successful Millfield team, but they turned them over and they showed real heart in winning that match 24-5. So fantastic, well done to our senior folks. Also in from the girls beat Millfield in a very tight game, 17 points to 15. And certainly the best wishes go out to poor Lauren Franklin. She broke her foot in playing sevens last year against Millfield, maybe, and now she has damaged her knee, unfortunately, on crutches, and she's due to be going to Iceland as well, I think. So best wishes to Lauren, and hope the knee isn't as bad as initially thought.
think I'm not sure I'm fully qualified to make this statement. I'm just a maths teacher. I think the Clifton are currently 2-1 ahead versus Millfield in tonight's fixtures.
That is correct.
And therefore, I think I'm sure it probably isn't playing on their minds out there, but I know Millfield will certainly want to be winning this one in order to level those scores up. But to do so, they're going to have to come from a try down.
Is it like the Ashes, though? Millfield doing this and it's 2-all because they won last year, they retain the Bresnahan Cup?
I think it very much depends which coach you speak to. Harry Ashall will now go at the second attempt at conversion. Successful conversion there by Harry Ashall. Sultan has now turned on the scoreboard. We just haven't updated it, but of course I'm reliably told 5 plus 5 plus 2 is 12. So terrible. And Millfield look to restart the match. So an early replacement, Archie Grayson, number 13, who made that incisive burst from first try, has been replaced by number 22, Will Naish, as Millfield kick onto the roof, in fact, but into the sideline from the penalty, we believe awarded for something, some sort of high contact, maybe somewhere in the ruck. So I'm going to ask Angie now. I'm going to ask Andrew now to take us through the next few phases of play.
Yeah, it'll be good to see how Milford cope now. Like, he's just got to keep the ball, and it's the first time they've really been in our half with possession. So here they are on the 22. Bring it out wide into the backs. 15 down to the corner, and again, good pressure by Clifton, good defence, and as I said, Milford have just got to try and keep the ball and have a bit of patience and put some phases together. At the moment, they haven't got the ball, and they're being punished by Clifton. We'll probably look to carry this from the 22, some big runners, get 10 yards up the field, and then probably look to do a box kick or turn their defence, and again then play from their half.
So as Lewis Williams throws into the line out, let's see if Mr. Wagstaff's prediction rings true. So there was a penalty given away. That's given Clifton an easy opportunity to clear lines. And Jack Lloyd looking to find touch, only finds a Milford player.
Tackle.
So let's see Milford now if they can keep this ball in hand. Jack Lloyd to field the ball, let's see. He's moved it infield. He's got Koblic. He's tried the ball over the top. Clifton's managed to gain it.
As you can hear the excitement from the crowd when Emmanuel gets the ball. It's a bit like Jason Robinson when he used to get it for England. You can just sense the crowd giving him another yard of pace, not that he needs it, and he always puts it on there. He's an exciting player, so as Clifton are trying to do, get the ball to him as much as possible and get him in the game, because he can certainly make the yards for them.
Yes, it's certainly good to hear the crowd getting going. We've got a signal that the substitution has been reversed, so Archie Grayson who temporarily came off, the Will Nations return to action. It's certainly fair to say, looking out over there, Michelle Bresnan touched on this earlier about her concerns, how long this will keep going for. Because I look out and I looked, people are standing pretty much all down this side of the pitch, the grandstand full over there, a good queue for the hot dog stand if Andrew Wagstaff's left any, and pretty much people standing all along the far side as well as behind the goal near the car park. So it is brilliant to see quite so many people. They will all be aware that the reason they're here is the Ryan Bresnahan Memorial match, the 10th one, with Clifton looking to reverse the result from last year, and currently it's looking promising for them. the match as Clifton ball out the scrum. The play was open for Harry, plays out the back of his hand. And then Flick goes through to score the try. So such was Mr. Wagstaff's assignment. He almost dropped my folder over the side of the stand. Fortunately, his reactions were as good as they ever were. He's managed to retrieve the moment. Thank you, Andrew. Maybe you could talk about the try.
Yes, again, it seems to be scoring relatively easy, dare I say it, but was sort of striking from first place. So we're putting in a runner, possibly could argue if you're Millfield, that he's taking out a defender, because the pass has gone behind the back to Harry Ashall. But streetwise play, and then Harry's just fixed the defence so well, and out the back, offload. But Freddie Wood, I think it was, in the corner, wasn't it? So, fantastic try.
Harry's pulled that across the front of goal, so the score line moves to 17-0 with around about, I'm guessing, 8 minutes remaining till half time. So Millfield will obviously be looking to certainly not concede further. Hopefully, as Andrew was saying earlier, we'll go through some phases with the ball in hand. But the first job they've got to do is retrieve their kick.
Switch of play.
They switch to the far side.
Rock on, play advantage, Clifton.
Exciting play coming back there for the knock-on from the kick. As spotted quite so clearly by Andrew Wagstaff.
He went forward about 10 yards.
Just a reminder, I am joined by Clifton College's very own Andrew Wagstaff, Director of Sport. So they're one of my rugby heroes. And technically he has the pleasure of doing that social cost. Mr. Salter looking relatively relaxed on the sideline at this stage. Just
What hair?
there's a light drizzle of rain coming through, just cleaning off the ensuring the party remains the same.
That's it. I'm seeing the crowd are now singing songs because Mr. Calendar isn't playing any music, so the crowd are making their own music. It's certainly a good atmosphere over there. Let's see what Clifton can do. Chase options a kick, and that's a very sensitive kick. Right back into their own 22. Pressure on from Clifton. Good return kick actually. Look for the quick line, maybe. Very good kick from Millfield, well played.
So the drizzle is beginning to fall now. For those of you who are slightly unaware or haven't been in Bristol, we were greeted this morning with a pretty ferocious deluge of rain. Phrase, and as I said earlier, I was kind of hoping that it might mean the match was called off and I wouldn't have to come and do the commentary. But it has brightened up significantly, and I think given the past few very dry days that we've had, which is very much the top of my tan, I think the pitches have coped very well with that rain and played particularly well. But I do think with this drizzle coming down now, that the surface seems skiddy as we saw from that kick earlier, and also from some of the handling, it's just some of the handling is just slightly to maybe slip out, and those passes can need to be as accurate as they possibly can in order to avoid these errors. Okay, so that takes us into half time with Clifton 17 0 up. So an opportunity for John Mallet and Matt Salter to have a word with their teams.
There isn't an
Okay, so as the teams have their half-time team talk, I am it's an honour and a pleasure to be joined by two Bristol Bears players who, not coincidentally, represent an old Cliftonian in Ioan Lloyd and an old Millfieldian in Callum Sheedy. So I'm going to go to in turn. I'll start with Ioan first, just to maybe to give a quick review of that half.
I thought it was a good half, good rugby. I thought the Bulls have clearly worked hard in the week, and I sure want to push them.
And Callum, if you were giving the half-time team talk, what would you be saying now to the Millfield boys?
I think they've got to get their hands on the ball a bit more. You've seen how dangerous Clifton are. Very good number 10. I'm not sure he is. Ioan's younger brother is running the game really well, and obviously Harry in the midfield is controlling things. So Millfield need to try and get their hands on it a bit more and keep it when they have it.
Yeah, good. And so, Ioan, you were in this match last year. Did you play in this year match? So, talk us through how you enjoyed it last year.
Yeah, it's a crazy event. It's obviously such a great event with such a great cause. Also, playing in front of the whole school is pretty mad.
And speaking of your brother, did you teach him that footwork on the dance floor? Or?
No chance. After a race halfway.
Callum, maybe just coming back to you, maybe you could just mention maybe a hero of yours when you were growing up. Who did you look up to as a young rugby player?
I think the hero I always looked up to, maybe love rugby, was Brian O'Driscoll. So he was obviously the man for probably 8-10 years, and it was the years I was just starting to play rugby. So although I ended up playing number 10 now, I just looked at him, and the way he played the game was how I liked to play. So yeah, growing up he was always the player I always wanted to try and emulate when I played.
And Ioan, a similar question to you.
My hero growing up was probably Sean Johnson. rugby league player in New Zealand. Just his footwork and the way he just glides through defences is sort of what I try to practice and get to, but I'm not nowhere near there yet.
Right, sure you are. And as far as the longest pre-season in Premiership history is going, how are you enjoying that?
It's a crazy experience, but it's great. Yeah, it's really good. Really good.
And Callum, for you?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a lot different to what we've done before in the last few years, obviously being 12, 13 weeks. Enjoyed it, but looking forward to getting to the game tonight.
And unlike at school where we're given no time off to watch the World Cup rugby matches, are you permitted time from the Bears to watch?
Nope, nothing.
Not
Yeah, it's on the screen at lunch.
Just the highlights?
Yeah.
So yeah, what would you be saying to the Clifton team as they start thinking about coming back out?
Stay composed, really. Just the ball players who are currently controlling the game, just make sure they carry on doing what they're doing. And for the rest of the team, just keep doing the basics, keep doing everything that they're doing well already. Just make sure they carry on doing that through the second half, because Millfield are going to come out strong now. They're going to come out fighting, and they're just going to have to be good at the basics, the tackling, the passing, just making sure they're not throwing silly offloads and stuff like that.
Okay. And any last words from you, Callum?
Hopefully Milford get a bit of a comeback and we can see a bit of a entertaining contest.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed for a small comeback, but maybe not a full comeback. So thank you, gentlemen, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the boys back out for the second half. I think the consensus is that Millfield just need to try and get some time on the ball, get the ball in hand, move through some phases, and then certainly avoid any maybe sucker punches from Clifton that's going to move them further ahead on that scoreboard. The drizzle continues to fall pretty heavily, so hopefully it won't take away from the enjoyment as we begin the second half. some nice expansive rugby there from Millfield. Unfortunately, as we said, with this weather coming in, those passes need to be absolutely 100% in the onion bag, and otherwise they're not going to. The player's going to struggle to hold on to them. So it's a line out to Clifton on the far side. Some further expansive running from Clifton, a break from what looked, to be fair, it wasn't clear, but a break from Clifton, pushing them up just short of the Millfield try line, where they've found themselves a penalty, and they've found touch for the line out. To Morgan Shinati, rising like a salmon as Clifton set up the maul, moving forward. The ref's going to have his job cut out as he gets low, and he's seen, and he's warded the try. So the fourth try of the night, and Clifton's fourth try of the night, will see them into a 22-0 lead, with the conversion still to come. So I think that it will be a pleasing result, one off the training ground. And reliably formed, despite Mr. Caven obviously has far better eyesight than I do, spotted JJ at the bottom there going over the line for the try. So JJ Hughes. Harry Ashall makes a conversion attempt. Successful conversion there from Harry Ashall, and I'm joined again after his lunchtime, half-time, and it informs me his fifth burger of the evening. I'm joined again by Andrew Webster. Good evening, Andrew.
Good evening. Yeah, the hot dogs aren't as great as the burgers, but the burgers are very tasty. Just come back on the booth. I've just missed a fantastic try from Clifton. They seem to be starting the second half as they finish the first.
A try straight off the training round, taken from the line out, and the forwards mulling over with JJ Hughes finding himself at the bottom. And finding himself over the try line. So, and then as Millfield have tried to restart, they've put the ball straight into touch and Clifton have requested the scrum on the halfway. And just for the record, Andrew didn't bring me any feedback at all. Again, that ball proving difficult, a little bit slippy as Clifton spill it forward to give Millfield the scrum just inside their own half. As Clifton eye up the defensive line, Millfield look to capitalise on some central field position. Initially looked like a strong push from Clifton, but Millfield have managed to recover as they kick to the Clifton fullback. Give it. Receive the ball. Respect is reversed. He should have given it. Accelerated. And he's passing it inside, and again, perhaps just with the conditions tonight, the ball in one hand. It's always going to be a risky strategy, and Clifton have spilled the ball forward. So as some treatments received on the pitch, just a reminder of where we are all here tonight. So it is the Ryan Bresnahan Memorial Match. It's the 10th Memorial Match. in memory of Ryan Bresnahan, former Old Cliftonian who tragically passed away from meningitis in March 2010. Please do take the opportunity to visit the website Life for Cure, set up by his family and his mother Michelle Bresnahan, who you heard interview earlier today. Please visit, read about Ryan's story, and if you see fit, please do add to that amazing total of what is now over 500,000. It's difficult to believe just how impressive that figure has become, and certainly I know everyone here, including myself, who have been around for much of that fundraising time to see it reach that mark is an amazing story and a real credit to his family, to Michelle, for all the hard and tireless work they've done.
So Clifton made a few subs there. Chris Thompson with a head injury. He had a similar one on tour, so we need to watch that, but he's with the physio. So Sam Butcher's come on the second row, I believe, and then we've just made a change at scrum half. So Finn Yates has come on for Aidan McGee. So well played to Aidan.
Finn assured me whilst teaching him for the Master Day that his nickname was Yatesy, so quite imaginative, although he has felt that his younger brother has stolen the nickname from him. I did explain to Finn it's because they've got the same surname, but I don't think Finn was able to do that. Crunch and tackle, a huge bouncer up there. As Lewis Williams went through on the counter-up, for turnover ball, and Clifton start making their way up pitch. Finn out to Morgan, Harry delaying the pass, Harry Ashwell to break a small break through. Clifton quickly there. So, Andrew, I'm going to take the opportunity to ask you who is going to win the World Cup?
Well, obviously I need to try and support my team Wales, and they're going to win the World Cup, but seeing that I managed to get New Zealand in the sweepstake, I'll be backing them as well. So Wales-New Zealand final, not sure if that's possible. But I think my money will be on New Zealand.
Yeah, I think I probably would have to share those things, but I also would almost certainly say you're more likely to win the sweepstake with New Zealand than I am with Uruguay.
I didn't know they were in the World Cup.
That might have been why they were laughing when they gave me the ticket.
Clifton obviously in the scoreline 24-0, trying to get all the bench on. So front row replacements there. Charlie Derlind and Henry King, I think, are coming on for Arthur, Shakuro and Toby Dawkins.
So Millfield looking to clear their lines. After moving in further, just again that ball, keeping control of that ball has been proven difficult. Impressive pick up there. Good support. Unfortunately, the greasy ball not finding it into the safety of Harry Taylor, Captain Harry Taylor's hands, and a turnover to Millfield as they attack down the far side. Unclear who secured the ball here. It looks like Clifton will be working this back, going through some phases. Finn Yates waits, shifting the ball now. Hughes must move to some fancy footwork on the sideline. Jack Lloyd acting as scrum half. Finn now takes over as well. Harry Taylor taking it into midfield opposition. So we've also been joined in the commentary box by young Halby Wagstaff. I've had a word with him off mic to see which team he'll be supporting in the Rugby World Cup, and he informs me, much to his father's delight, that it's no longer going to be Wales. And he's seen the light, and he'll be supporting the mighty men in white, Tottenham Hotspur. And furthermore, even further to his father's delight, he disagrees with the prediction for the winner of the World Cup. He has gone for England, so all eyes will be set for Thursday's match against the USA. So Clifton winning the line, Millfield's line out there, and a rush, but an excellent kick helped them clear the lines, and Millfield to have another go a little bit further back up the pitch. Again, ball's gone a bit too long, maybe due to this drizzle that's returned, and Clifton pick up the pieces, but again, perhaps giving them the benefit of the doubt. That slightly slippery ball maybe has turned the Tim Singer handling into made it slightly more difficult, and perhaps a little bit of scrappiness has come in as the game moves on. Andrew now tells me he's going to head over, reportedly to run the prize draw. Just to remind him, the winner is 361 yellow, please. Although he's heading, that's the reason he tells me he's heading over there. But I also note it's next to the burger tent, so I don't know if he's going for number 6. But Andrew, before you leave us, thank you for your time spent here. But any last words?
I just think it's been a good finish to a great festival of rugby tonight. Really competitive game, although the scoreline is a bit one-sided. I think Millfield certainly haven't crumbled, and they've stuck at it. And for me, it's been played in great spirit, and that's what it's all about. We haven't had anything off the ball. So well done to both teams. Hopefully Millfield can come away with some points, because they certainly deserve it for sticking at it. But I think certainly the first half, it was just the phase play that Clifton could put together, kept the ball well, and the tries they scored from set pieces as well. It's probably just a bit too much for Millfield's defence. They certainly handled it a bit better in the second half, but it's good to see that both teams have got all their subs on, and allow the boys to soak up this atmosphere and be part of what is a special evening and a fantastic 10th year, as I'm sure has been mentioned before. But well done to all the teams that have come here tonight. Had a fantastic evening and a very competitive first team game. But it's pleasing to see there's a bit of payback for last year. Clifton perhaps felt a bit hard done by with 2 tries, which they felt they scored, which were disallowed. So they certainly have made amends with tonight's performance, so well done to Clifton. And let's hope that, as I said, as the rain's coming down, finishing the game, there's a few mistakes setting in, so hopefully it will finish on a positive note. But thank you very much.
Thank you. I listened to the crowd who've remained tuneful and vocal throughout, so fair play to them. About 5 minutes, I imagine, left on the clock, with Clifton looking to clear their lines and maybe one final piece of magic to wrap up the match, and certainly Millfield would like to get some points on the board and not leave empty-handed. Again, handling errors causing some problems for the players, but the referee deeming that that's gone backwards, so Millfield have retained possession and are going to start working this ball back upfield. However, a rip from Clifton has seen them recover territory and have started moving forward through Jack Lloyd with a wrap-around run by Harry Ashall. Similar field position here for where Clifton scored their, I think their previous try. Millfield faring a little better. However, Clifton's started to gain some momentum and starting to make some big strides up pitch. And the referee positioning himself. It's Clifton turned from left and back to round to the right, and almost a carbon copy, but swinging around to the right this time instead of round to the left, going over. So that moves Clifton to 29-0. The conversion to come, and I can't imagine there's many seconds left once this kick has been taken. And it's Harry Ashall to take the conversion. And there we go, the end of the match. So with the failed conversion, Clifton getting a little revenge from last year and winning 29-0. I'm sure they'll be pleased with not only the try scored but also the scoreline against. But again, a fantastic match. Millfield certainly continued, and during the second half, at times both teams sort of balance each other out with the drizzle or the rain as it now is falling a little heavier, perhaps leading to a slightly scrappy second half, and perhaps not living up to some of the spectacular running rugby that we witnessed in the first half. So as we go to the final presentations, and the boys will be lining up again to receive the cup and the awards for man of the match, and Michelle Bresnahan will give a speech to the boys and to the crowd. So for those of you at home watching this, or perhaps even in the pub, although perhaps if you're in the pub I'm not sure you'll have the volume up, I would like to wish you all well. I hope you enjoyed this evening's stream. And I look forward to seeing you pretty much the same place, same time next year, which will be the 11th Ryan Bresnahan Memorial match. So good night.